Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with more Hearthstone. This is the 4th recording of the same day. We are in the new January season. Why are we doing a 4th recording? We did not go into overtime and decide we needed to make another recording because of that. We have gotten all the quests done. What we didn't do is account for my stupidity and get enough gold for next recording when we get 3 more quests to do an arena run. So this is gonna be a grind on grind on grind, grinder sandwich episode, because all we're gonna be doing is mage runs. Why are we doing mage runs? It is the January season. Seasons I guess are a month. It said January season when I launched it, so this season at least is only a month. We are doing the January season, so we started at rank 23. We want to get up to rank 20. We want to get higher if we could, but it doesn't matter really. We want to grind the mage out to level 60, which is max, and 500 wins. And that is going to take a good long time. So this episode is just grinding on grinding on grinding. We need to win like 6 games to get 20 gold. Yep, so am I gonna get 6 games in a row? No.
Jaina versus Rexa.
This is the stuff that
You asked for it.
I could easily cut out of Hearthstone too. There's certainly an argument could be made to just cut out this grindy stuff, but the thing is, I need some extra episodes for Hearthstone. I've said it a couple times now, probably a lot of times. And while I'm recording, I have really no opportunity to do anything else. I can't be playing this and playing another game and recording that. So it's either play this game and record it, or play this game and don't record it. And it makes sense to just record it.
Well played. Job done.
That's not to say I won't ever
Get in there and fight.
won't ever play Hearthstone without you watching. You've probably seen on several occasions I have played Hearthstone with people not watching just fine. But I do need another extra.
Job's done.
So that's why I'm doing this grind on grind on grind. I'm going to try and play as fast as possible. See Boone. Oh, is that Boone or Bonnie? I don't know how to spell Bonnie. I don't think I know anybody by the name Bonnie. Kill the guy with Wind Fury. Why not? There was
The light protects
like one of the creators of Mortal Kombat was named Boone, I think. I don't know if he's still doing that. I don't even know if the owners of Mortal Kombat are the same people anymore. So much of that happens. All that, like, great example, and this is particularly interested in the story I am. Let me rephrase that so that makes sense. I am particularly interested in the story of how the game Portal was created, because Portal was created based off a project that was made at a college called Digipin. And so it was,
Job's done.
I think like 3 or 4 people in the graduating year class at Digipin made this game. I forget the name. It's a V word and then drop was the name of the prototype that became Portal. And then the creators of Half-Life, and I think that's Steam, yeah, and Steam, they hired him out of school to
Hit it very hard.
to make Portal and release it on the Orange Box, which was an interesting release in itself. That they put like
I smell blood.
Half-Life 2, Team Fortress 2, and Portal together. I think it was 3 games. Maybe it was 5 games. Maybe there were 2 other games. I just don't remember the names of them. And it released them all out as one $60 game. It called it the Orange Box, which it's Valve. Valve is the name of the company. Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah. That's right. And so why I'm so interested in the story of the Christian Portal, besides it just being a generally interesting story and Portal being a great game that everybody should see. Alright, this guy's getting squelched. Should
Behold the might of Stormwind!
should watch. Let's see. What am I doing here? I've got 3 health, so I need to, in 3 attacks, kill 2 people? I mean, 2 attacks here. 1 attack here.
For the Alliance! Hit it very hard. Job's done.
So, Portal's a great game. I'll have to check to see if it is available for being streamed or if it's copywritten. And that's the end of me. Wow. Totally unfair there. I should have won that. But on to the next game. But what makes this a personal story to me is that going out of college. I mean, no. Going into college from high school was very, very interested in fighting Dr. Dre.
You asked for it.
In going to Digipin. Digipin's not a cheap college. It is specialized in making video games, and it is focused in Richmond, Washington, where the Nintendo of America headquarters are. And so it's really focused on pushing towards working for Nintendo, which is what I kind of wanted to do. And suffice it to say, none of that happened. And I'm a little bitter.
Job's done.
And I get only a little bit more bitter when it turns out that had I gone from my year graduating to high school to Digipin, I would have been in the graduating class that made for it. And possibly, good chance, would have been involved in that project and would have made for it. Now, does that mean my life would have just been on this gravy boat and everything would have been way better? Maybe, maybe not. I have not heard much happening. Most of the people that went to Valve and made Portal still work at Valve at probably some low-level or medium-level job, or they got fired and I just never heard of it. One of the ladies that was involved in it went on to work for Zynga, the World's Worst Friends creator, which is a horrible cell phone game that is basically Scrabble with ads and harassing your friends and being harassed. So it wasn't all great. Didn't all work out for him, but it was interesting. I would certainly have loved to have gone to Digipen. I would have loved to graduated from Digipen. I would have loved to create Portal, even if that was the only thing I ever did. If I could get my name on there, I would have been like, all right, I've achieved life goals. So where was I? What got me talking about this? I can't remember. Oh, this is no good. No good at all. I cannot remember for the life of me what got me talking about that. Yeah, and I'll go back and look at the footage and know exactly why I was talking about Portal. And it'll be some great reason that was going to lead to more conversation, and I got so wrapped up in watching all that, I've totally forgotten. Man, I really can't remember, so I'll just have to end the conversation there. Let's go back to the game. Let's talk about the game.
Someone called.
Man, that really sucks. Trying to do two things at once is really hard. And that's what I'm doing. Well, really, I'm doing about 3 things at once. I'm remembering what I want to say, or trying to think up what I want to say, and then talking. On top of that, and playing a game, a card game.
Pandaria will be ours.
The light protects me.
I think he says Pandaria there. That was one of the releases of World of Warcraft. Big Panda Island or something.
Just me and Mr. Bike.
Reporting for duty.
Man, the only thing worse than forgetting something is the feeling of just disappointment in yourself. It's just like, I can't believe I did that. I cannot believe I've forgotten something here that was important to me to say, and
Job's done.
I've just dropped the ball. I mean, it's never a clean break. It's never like you forget something. Well, I'm sure it is. It is all the time you forget things and then you just never remember that you forgot them. But when you've got that empty hole in your head, I mean that fuzzy black hole in your head, and you go, I know there was something there. That it connected. It was that missing puzzle piece. Yeah, that's a good example. Is that if you did 1,000 piece puzzles, and then when you get it done, you find you're missing like 3 pieces. That just sucks.
I am master of magics.
So did not do that right. Should have bought this guy up first. Should have bought him out, then done the more damage.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, if you hear me sniffling, I don't have a cold or anything. I just kind of have psychiatry. And
Behold the might of
they happen a lot. Maybe I can turn this around. I mean, if he plays his last card here,
Reporting for duty.
we will be just stuck at a chance versus chance draws. Is his deck better than my deck? And probably his deck is better than my deck, but if I get lucky and get the better draw each turn. Alright.
Are you ready for this? For the Alliance! Reporting for duty. Behold the might of Stormwind!
This guy seems to not understand the concept of the taunt.
Are you ready for this?
Don't blink.
For the Alliance!
Keep this even. I've got this. I've got more damage than he does.
Reporting for duty.
Didn't want him to get that. Alright, so we can do this. And we can do this. We can do
For the Alliance!
this.
Don't
And this.
Don't
and
blink.
this. And we've lost the game. We lost the game. Got him down to 1, but it doesn't matter.
Reporting for duty.
He was luckier.
Thank you.
I tip my hat to Dr. Dre. Your Beats headphones still a piece of the junk. I would feel the need to say that directly to the face of Dr. Dre, but I don't know, maybe he would punch me if I ever saw him, which why in the world would I ever see him face to face, but I would feel the need to say it. And I would expect the appropriate response would be him to just get real sad and mopey and go, I know.
Jaina versus Thrall!
For Doomhammer.
You asked for it.
That's Droopy. Is an old cartoon. We had some messed up cartoons when I was a kid. Yeah, and not messed up in the way they're messed up now. They're messed up in completely different ways. In fact, I'd probably argue that every generation has a uniquely messed up cartoon that's messed up in a completely different way than the next generation, depending on where you want to put the generational divide. But as you start going back, you can't show any of the cartoons from like even a couple decades ago. And there's great ones these days too that just didn't exist. if you look at like, to get back to comic books, if you look at a Spider-Man cartoon in today's day and age versus a Spider-Man cartoon in 10 years ago or 20 years ago, if they were doing them then, those 10, 20 years ago were just utter junk. Now they put some real quality into it. A lot of times they're released specifically to be like Blu-ray movies and animated good, look good, story is written better. And I watched one on Netflix just to see what it was all about, called Superman versus, I forget the name of the group. It was based off a Superman arc before the reboot that I talked about in the last episode, and the arc was called What's So Wrong with Truth, Justice, and the American Way. And it's a really good, famous arc of Superman, where Superman gets up with this set of people that have superpowers and decide to start getting into political affairs and trying to end all war and trying to be judge, jury, and executioner, and most people are perfectly fine with that. So where Superman would put Lex Luthor in jail over and over again, these guys would just shoot Lex Luthor and be done with it.
Master of Magics.
Just go ahead and end this turn as it is. And so there's a great story, I won't spoil the end, but it was called Superman versus something. It was this like British team, but so if you can search Netflix and Superman versus, that's probably the one, but I can't tell you any more about it, sorry. This was a long time ago. I don't feel too bad about not remembering this particular name. I'm much more upset about not remembering specific things that I was just thinking about and just talking about than things that happened a long time ago. Mostly if I've slept since something happened, I just write that off as, oh, I'll never remember that. And a lot of times people will tell me, like, their name or whatever. They'll try and tell me something important about themselves, and just their names or something, and I'm like, I'm not gonna remember any of that, sorry. Sorry to be a jerk, but I'm not gonna remember your name. You would have to do something pretty miraculous. There was a comedian's joke that comedian would do this bit. I don't remember which comedian it was, but he said, yeah, he had this drug dealer that did a lot of drugs himself, and so he would never remember any of his friends. So every time you went to talk to him, you would have to like show him your tattoo or something so he would remember you. And it'd be like, no, we've been friends. We've met 100 times. But he said the joke a lot funnier than I do. I do on rare occasions think about being a comedian, but I do not like being up in front of a crowd.
We must cleanse.
Nobody really does, not even actors and comedians, but yeah.
Ready for action.
I say some funny stuff every now and then, but I don't think I have enough to stand in front of a crowd for 30 minutes or anything.
Lead you to master.
Plus, a comedian's life is a hard life of traveling around to different locations and barely making any money until you get really famous, and there's only a handful of really famous comedians out there, like Seinfeld. Seinfeld is the ultimate most famous comedian who never has to work if he doesn't want to. So the question is, why was he in the B movie? That is a good question that I do not know the answer to. I mean, they get tons of residuals just from the Seinfeld TV series. He gets way more than some of the other actors.
You asked for it.
Because he was a writer and he they kind of got screwed. Which is very common to happen in TV production. The recent Sony hacks prove that once again that people get screwed all the time, because while I didn't do any research or look at anything that was hacked and released, it was reported on legitimate news that a lot of the female workers in the Sony movie industry, the same level as male workers, were getting paid a lot less. That is very common everywhere because women do not feel timid about asking for raises. Guys sometimes feel timid about asking for raises too, but then somebody who isn't timid about it, who's usually a guy, will go and ask for his raise and your raise and get it. The whole system is really messed up. I mean, if you're on the same level as somebody, if you're doing the same work, everybody should get paid the same amount. If someone is more educated or less educated, well, that's just a little bit of too bad. You shouldn't be getting paid for your education. Education should be free, which is a different argument. That knowledge should always be free. People should be able to get as much education as they ever would want, and it should not be locked behind a college system or anything like that. And
job's done.
But you shouldn't be paid for your education. You should be paid for the work you do, if you have to be paid at all. Really, I'd really like to get rid of the crazy idea of being paid at all and just skip the middleman. People should be fed. The line of logic is people should work so they get paid so they can feed themselves. So why don't we just skip that middle part and skip the first part if we don't really need people to work, which we're going to quickly get into a society like that. Quite recently I saw an article where Bill Gates said that people do not realize how many jobs are just going to get replaced with computers.
Job's done.
Like artificial intelligence. Tons of jobs already have. It's all been done in sneaky backroom deals, so nobody ever sees how much it is. They'll close a facility for one reason and then never open another facility to replace it. But yeah, eventually we'll get into a society where there is very little work needs to be done at all. Once all the computers have been designed, once all the robots have been designed, and all the programs have been programmed, people won't need to work. And so then we're gonna have to get rid of the line "people should work." We're gonna have to hit the hard truth that people shouldn't have to deal with money, and just get with the end that people should be fed, because it's a moral thing. It's not a it's about being morally upright and wanting to see people fed. It's not about a reward thing where people that work hard are going to always be rewarded, and those that aren't getting rewarded obviously didn't work hard, because that is just a giant fallacy. People like to pretend like that's how the world works. It doesn't work that way. There's all different stories. Sometimes people don't work hard and they are not rewarded. Lots of times people don't work hard and they are rewarded. Rewarded more than people who do work hard. It's just everybody's got a different story, and all that doesn't matter.
Job's done.
People are human beings. If you value the life of a human being, any random human being, then you want to see them fed. You want to see them clothed. You want to see them in a house, a living situation of some sort. You want to see them happy. If you don't value the lives of human beings, well, then you really don't care about anybody, and so don't be surprised when nobody cares about you.
Behold the might of Stormwind!
You can already see how jobs have left in just 150 years, 200 years. It took one man, maybe a man and his few children, maybe like three men, to do 4 acres or so of growing like cotton or any other plant. It took one man to grow that much. Now, because we have tractors, because we have automated a lot of the process, because it's just an easier thing to do than it used to be. One farmer alone doesn't really need that many any ranch hands at all. Can do way more than 40 acres and a mule, like Abraham Lincoln promised. He can do hundreds of acres, 200 acres. I'm probably getting these numbers wrong. I probably got every single number wrong, but it is considerable. One man in a tractor, an air-conditioned tractor, can do the work of, I'd say, 50 to 100 other people that were doing the work. Whether those were free people or sharecroppers or just downright slaves. Often sharecropping was nothing but slavery, hidden disguise. If you don't know what sharecropping is, some rich person would own the land and take like 3/4 of everything you grew, and you would get to live on that land for a season for that exchange, and then you could sell or live off the 1/4 of your work, which was never a good deal. I mean, it just kept everybody who ever did it in poverty. It only made the rich person who owned the land
Ready for this?
richer.
Job done.
I don't think they do sharecropping these days, but who knows? A lot of growing agriculture now is a scam of buying the seeds. Corporations have gotten a monopoly on seeds, and they genetically modify them so they won't grow past one season or one generation. So the plants that grow don't have seeds to grow any more plants, and then they will have to buy the seeds again, and it costs a ridiculous amount of money. And so it's this system in which a poor-ish, not really that poor farmer, I mean, if you've got tons of land and tractors and stuff.
Jaina versus
Not that
Gul'dan.
poor. You might be in incredible amounts of debt for buying
You
all
asked
of that
for it.
equipment and land, but you're not living on the street poor. But he'll go in debt some more to buy the seeds, and if there's a bad crop, well, he has to buy insurance, and if he doesn't buy insurance to pay for the bad crop that didn't grow that season because there wasn't enough rain, because of global warming, then he just goes bankrupt and he loses the land. And if he does sell the crop, well, a lot of his profit is going right back to the corporations who are screwing him on genetically modified seeds, and then they are also screwing the neighbors of that man, because anytime wind blows those genetically modified seeds over to his side of his neighbor's fence, they go and sue that person for some perceived insult or breaking of the law. And that's certainly not something that should have ever been allowed to happen. That is just a terrible situation. Genetically modifying food, not a good idea usually. I mean, we have been doing agriculture and selective breeding on plants for thousands of years. There's nothing wrong with selective breeding. You grow a big apple, you plant the seeds from the big apple. You grow a big tomato, you plant the seeds from the big tomato. That's selective breeding. If you grow a small or sickly looking tomato, you throw those seeds away. That is fine. But when somebody's going in there and adding DNA from a chicken into a tomato, no, don't do that. That is just this whole world of science that we don't understand completely. And we don't understand any science completely. So there's nothing wrong with that, but we don't understand probably 1% of what genes really do. All we can do is say, we've seen these traits in tomatoes that have this genetic sequence, so we think they're related, but you have no idea if that gene sequence does something else, causes cancer in the tomato, or causes cancer in the animals that eat the tomato, animals including humans. So, yeah. You don't want any of that. And
It is very hard.
just plant regular seeds, grow regular plants. If you can find them. I don't even know if they can find them anymore. But that's what we need to do. Just grow regular plants. It'll not be as much, but it'll be safer and better for you in the long run. I can guarantee you that.
No.
We have done so many games this far. I think we're probably on the 5th game already. Not stopping at the 5th game. We are going for as long as it takes. Or until I get bored and run out of stuff to talk about. We might win this one, but I've said that like 3 times and not won.
I've got the beast in myself.
See.
Job's done.
Interesting, this is one of the original cards, the beast, the King Mukala. Gives your opponents 2 bananas, the banana gives you +1/+1. So how much mana? It's 3 mana for a 5/5, so that's why you would want it in your deck. It's a low mana cost to get a 5/5.
Bingo! Yes!
Alright, so if I put this here and this here, this can kill this. Now if I play this here, that kills this. And then let's play this here.
Master of magic.
Job done.
If I could heal this guy 1 or 2, he couldn't even kill me with it, but fine. 3 damage? Huh. Deal damage, 2 kills. Summon a random demon.
I am master of magics. Vaporization commencing.
So it got him down to 2. If he life taps, he loses. If I damage him in 2 turns, he will lose with
You
the
haste
power of
Jaraxxus, Eladar Lord of the Burning Legion!
Jaraxxus. Yeah. Son of a.
Vaporization commencing. Vaporization commencing.
7/7 fight. He's got 7 uses of his 3 attack. And what is this? Summon a 6/6 Inferno? What kind of What the F is that? How is that fair?
For this?
How is 2 mana to summon an Inferno fair? Oh, ridiculous. I mean, you get this and you get this?
Truth
I need
is
Jaraxxus
my
in my deck. Bad.
Why
What?
do you call
Talk about overpowered.
Inferno?
Yeah, summon another 6/6 creature for 2 mana. That is totally fair. How long does it... We've gotten about halfway through this level. And have not gotten this freaking 1 win. I think we'll play to 1 win and then I'm gonna call it an episode. Just to wrap it up and show you this is why I the grindy part of Hearthstone. If you've ever heard me talk and felt like I was being
You asked for it.
down on Hearthstone, just watch this episode again and you'll understand why. When you get in these losing streaks, when it is just this horrible waste of time, non-progression stuff, it sucks. And there's nothing else I could do. I wouldn't mind if I could just click here and find 1 gold every 100 clicks. I'd be fine with just that. Give me 1 gold for 100 clicks. Or give me 1 gold for 20 losses. Or 10 gold for 20 losses. Something, but there's just no progression. Losing does you nothing. This is a pretty funny pun name. And Frank, P-H-R-A-N-K. but it's kind of morbid too. I mean, Anne Frank is a story of a little girl. I think it's based on true stories, but I don't know if there really was Anne Frank that was hiding during the Nazi occupation in Germany. Well, it wasn't really an occupation during Nazi Germany. Germany was being run by the Nazi Party. And she was Jewish, hiding with her family in a secret attic. And that's pretty much all you need to know about the story, and if you can get away from ever having to read it, you probably would be happier. I don't recall anything that happened, so I'm not trying to slyly say that something terrible happens, but just on the setup, I think something terrible happens, and it doesn't sound like a fun time to me. I don't get that. I don't get when people want to like watch Schindler's List or something. It's like, and first things first, Schindler's List is 3 hours, so no, I don't want to watch it just because it's that long. But I mean, why do you want to watch a downer of a movie or read a downer of a story? I want things to end happy, or if it is gonna be a tragedy, it needs to be kind of funny. It has to entertain me in some way as a tragedy. I don't want something based on a real story that happens. I want to see fictional things.
So many options.
Let's see. Like in Star Wars, some of the people die. Well, they're fictional characters, so I can enjoy that without having to actually feel sad because it didn't really happen. It's all fiction. But if watching Schindler's List, people really did die, so why would I want to be sad? Why would I want to watch any movies like that? I don't even like real world movies anyways. Things that are based on real stories. Hey, they're boring to me in a whole different way. I don't like watching real world TV either. All that NCIS and CSI and all of those fictional shows that are set in the real world and cop shows. I certainly don't like to watch Cops, which is a fictional show for the most part.
One shot, one kill.
Reno 911 now. That was slightly funny because it was spoofing those shows, but in particular, I don't want to watch cops. I don't want to watch people at their worst being hauled off to jail. I want to feel sorry for people if I can avoid it. Now, if I had played this and the coin and this, I would have done one more damage to the face,
give it a shot.
Not really worth it. Elven Archer. I'll give it a shot. That's a pretty good slogan. I hadn't thought about that.
Get behind me.
I do have this thing, and I can only really attribute it to being old age. Where, as I get older, I start to think a few things on TV cross the line. Now, as a wild youth, I did not believe such a line existed at all. I thought everything was perfectly fine and acceptable. Everything I ever ran into on TV or anything I thought was funny, worth watching, entertaining, and particularly as a youth, I never thought, what if somebody half my age? As a 14-year-old, I never thought, what if a 7-year-old saw that? That never even occurred to me. As a much older than 14-year-old person now, it does occur to me, what if somebody half my age, who would be a teenager, saw that and I think, maybe they shouldn't be seeing that. Maybe that shouldn't be on TV where they could see it. Not that kids these days, as I say, actually even watch TV. Also, I think some of that's old age, but I think some of it is that there has absolutely been a relaxation of the censors that actually exist, whether it's institutionalized by a government or not, in TV and books and all that. Mostly TV, because I don't read a lot of books, so I could be, who knows what's going on in books. Although 50 Shades of Grey was a very popular book, even if most of the copies were just bought as gag gifts. But for certain cable channels today will do and show anything they feel like, whereas before they would edit out all sex scenes at the very least. They would usually cut back cussing. They would usually cut back the violence. If it was super violent, take out specific scenes. There would be cable edits, and then the only time you got something that was completely unedited was when you were connected to like HBO or one of the premium cable channels that you had to specifically pay extra for. Otherwise you'd have to go buy an uncut VHS or something, if you could find it.
Vaporization commencing.
I need to use this coin here before the 10th turn. Don't really need to, but I could do a little experiment here. If I play the coin when I'm full of 10 mana, will it give me the card to draw the card? That'll be an interesting experiment. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think, one, yes, things have gotten more violent, more sex scenes are allowed. My jaw dropped when I saw that the Sci-Fi Channel did an entire season, most recently, where every single show was sex scenes. When I saw the Game of Thrones on HBO, I literally was turned off of, well, let me say that better. I lost all interest in the show because there was so much nudity and sex going on that I could not actually get the story of it because it kept getting interrupted by all this nudity. I'm like, this is just, it made me uncomfortable, and I guess I'm getting older, and like, this is just too much nudity. I've not ever done that much. Interesting. So normally when you get extra mana, they give you a card that says you can draw one more card for it. That's called extra mana. This time though, when you play like that, it didn't do anything. It says 10-10. I think that's a bug, but whatever.
I'm ready. I'm not ready.
That should have given me a card to draw an extra card.
Job's done.
I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't have done that. And now I have 1 mana. Alright. So there's no real point in that story. It's just, I think the world is getting wilder and crazier, and sometimes I have an old person's reaction to it and go, that's a little too extreme. It's a little odd. But then I usually pull myself back and say, that's exactly what people who were my parents' age was saying when I was a kid. And I like the way the world has turned out since then. So if the price of freedom is actually having freedom to say cuss words and show nudity on cable, and that helps open up the artistic realms for better art, then I guess I'll just have to cringe every now and then and accept it. Because I like the way the world's gone. We would have never gotten Game of Thrones 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Things had to push the limit to the point where we could get Game of Thrones with such a super violent story that I do want to see, but I want to see it on a cable edit. And that is fine. That is fine if they want to make it with super extra graphics and sex, and then I'll watch it the edited version. Because they come out with edited versions. Or I'll watch it on Blu-ray and fast forward. I'm not a prude, and I'm not going to become a prude, and even if my old age is pushing me that way. Anyways, that's the end of this grind episode, and I just wanted to show you this is what happens. We got nothing accomplished here. We went up one rank. We won one. No, we did accomplish things. I take that back. We went up one rank, which, yay, we were gonna get to 20 before the end of the month for sure. We went, I think, halfway. We went all the way to the 56 and halfway, I believe. Well, even if we started at 56, we're at halfway now, which is great. And we got one victory. And one victory does not get you gold. 3 victories get you gold. 10 gold. So, I'm gonna have to win probably 5 more games. But I'm gonna do that off screen. If I don't get it all accomplished, next day we'll have 3 quests. We'll just play rank play. We won't do an arena because I can't afford it. That's fine. This is all my stupidity for buying the packs. I should have left myself a little bit extra gold. We've got some new cards. Like, we just looked at this last time, and we already got some new cards. And I like that. I like getting new cards. Whenever you summon a pirate stealth. Crackle. Another floating watcher. Oh, just one floating watcher. I thought I had one already. Well, definitely want to get that in my warlock deck. Here, let's go change our warlock deck right now. Floating watcher, it's a 5. Let's take something out. Here we go. Gnomish Inventor. Why do we even have that in our card? Let's see. Which one was that? Void. Summoning Porter. Take that out. Put the Void Collar in. There we go. I already made a better deck. So I'm just lollygagging now. I like to say that word, lollygagging. Suffice it to say, I heard it a lot as a kid. Because I was never doing much of anything. Or at least that's what the parents thought. Or the adults thought. So that's the end of this episode. I am going to try really, really hard not to record more grind episodes. If I have something good to talk about and do need to grind, maybe I will, but I would have to think about something good to talk about. And usually I run out of stuff to talk about even before I've started recording. So, I mean, that sucks. I need to think of better things, more conversations. comment, and I'll have something to talk about. If people just wanted to message me and send me questions, I could do a whole grind episode on Hearthstone of responding to questions if people send them. So that's fine. But that's the end of this episode. I've said it several times. As always, like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of the video. All of that helps out. Have a good evening.